Hello and good day, everyone. I'm actually taking in a moment of time, and this morning I started wanting to share thoughts about female relations, female masculine feminine relations, and male female relationships. And I began to think about how oftentimes one of the reasons why we as women suffer from emotional trauma of some level after being intimate with a gentleman is primarily, or with a guy, is primarily because of the energy in which he brings during the time of intimacy. Um, they are typically, or maybe typically is too stereotypical, but what generally happens is that he comes with the intent of insertion and release. Insertion and release. In other words, his whole plan is about being able to go ahead and, you know, place his man stick somewhere and possibly gain some type of release from that. And, well, that's not a bad thought in some cases, but if you frequent that and that's the experience that you have, then what happens is the woman ends up eventually feeling a disconnect because he didn't really try to explore her and create a oneness of sharing. In other words, he didn't want her to find any satisfaction because he didn't do anything to try to pleasure her, whether it's hug her, caress her, kiss her on the cheek, give her a body massage. Like, he didn't really do anything like that. And he really came just for the purpose of to come, right? And so that creates the distance between the man and the woman. But when you can find the perfect balance of intimacy, where he typically because the male knows that he has the potential of being one who releases early. He tends to do things that pleasures her a lot beforehand. So because a woman can have multiple orgasmic releases before she actually has the big one, so to speak. But at least give her one, you know. And if the man is not going to take the time to do that, then chances are, especially if they haven't agreed upon this is what this is a quick moment. If they haven't agreed upon that, they're going to have a quickie, then there's definitely going to be some distancing between the two genders or between the two involved. So, I thought I'd talk about that today. That is the reason why we go through those moments of feeling a disconnect after sexual intimacy, and why women struggle with emotional imbalances, because she feels that she's given of all of herself. Remember, we are the ones who are the receivers, and then we give when children are born or whatever, in our nurturing nature. But in sexual intimacy, oftentimes we are the recipients, and depending on what he's bringing to the table, that is the reason why we have the disconnect. So I just wanted to kind of cover the bases of that, the reasons and the causes. There's always a cause and effect to everything. So I'm hoping that if you haven't considered this already, this is why we struggle with that. We have those issues. And of course, once we find our balance within, we actually end up stop inviting those types of men who actually want to have those type of relationships, believe it or not. When we start taking full responsibility of what that is and the type of energy he's bringing and what he's offering, those little short, brief moments. And if you don't have a bond before that, like you don't have any other forms of relationship, you're just, hitting and missing, or, hit it and quit it is kind of like another phase that goes along with that type of interaction. Then you get to choose whether or not you want to have that type of interaction or not, or if you want to continue. So hopefully this brings some closure or some comprehension to that type of interaction. Ciao.